Welcome to today's episode of Travel Tracker. We have showed you about Neil Armstrong traveling to the moon and scuba divers traveling to the ocean's floor. Before change, we are going to take you way back in time, to a history that answers many questions. Before that, let's see a trailer on an upcoming movie about the past. This trailer probably left you with many questions. The only answer to this is Charles Darwin's discoveries.
It all started with many questions like, who are we? What are we? Where do we come from? But none of us have tried to find answers. But I did. I set out to answer all my questions, and maybe some of yours on the HMS Eagle. I can remember it like it was yesterday. It all started in Plymouth. My impression of this place was clouded by circumstances. The weather was terrible during December, and the Beagle was delayed by at least 3 weeks. Spending more time waiting, I had become impatient, seasick, homesick, and ill. After the delay, the ship had set sail at 2 p.m. on December 27, 1830. Canary Island was the first destination that I had been traveling to after I had left England. I was terrified to find out that I would not be able to visit Canary Island. The local authorities had refused permission, having a fear that the crew would pass on the cholera that was rife in England at the time. So, I couldn't get to see Canary Island. I was devastated when I was missing my chance to proceed to the island, and I watched it fade off into the horizon. Then, on July 5th, we landed in Montevideo. There, I had the opportunity to carry out numerous expeditions into the countryside, which was covered with animals, like the blind rodents, huge capybaras, foul-smelling deer, mockingbirds, comical flycatchers, devilish toads, repugnant carrion eaters, snake lizards, fast-running ostriches, stupid partridges, pumas, llamas, and more. From December 1832 to January 1833, I had been in Tierra del Fuego. I had climbed a desolate mountain at Tierra del Fuego. It was called Mount Tarn. I had nothing to see but rocks and snow. I found no evidence of evolution here. As I left to travel on the HMS Beagle around the world on a journey, I kept in mind to return the 3 surviving Fujians to their own country. Fitzroy hoped they would be their missionaries to their own people. I then had my very first encounter with the Fujians. I kept my tactics in mind.
I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to move it.
Yeah, that's right. Move your way into our T&T studios to get your very own Perry the Platypus, Torty the Tortoise, the Flying Finches, and Ratatouille the Rat.
On September 15th, 1835, I arrived at Galapagos. This is one of my memorable destinations. This land helped me form the theory of natural selection. Coincidentally, we stopped at Galapagos to collect some tortoises for our meals. More than the tortoises, I was amazed by the finches. They had shocked me because I noticed quite a lot of similarities among the birds, which led me to the thought that those finches were from the same lineages, but just adapted to their new environment over time. I also noticed that their beaks had adapted to the types of their meals, like the finches with large beaks ate nuts, whereas the finches with small beaks ate little insects. This helped me with many of my questions. After Galapagos, I had arrived in Sydney on January 12, 1836. Here I saw wide clean streets, large houses, well-stocked shops, and tarmac roads. In Sydney, money was the main motivation. Despite all this, I had observed the magnificent parrots, white cockatoos, and strange platypus. I was stunned by the difference in flora and fauna between the Pacific and Atlantic sides of the mountain range. It had appeared that this impassable natural barrier led to the development of different species on either sides of the range. Then, we arrived at Cocoa Islands, which were surrounded by the Indian Ocean. The Cocoa Islands were filled with soapberries and castor oil plants, which came from Java and Sumatra. Moreover, the ocean had many astounding life forms. I observed many beautiful green fish that only ate coral. The Cocoa Islands were just simply astounding. On July 8th, we landed on St. Helena. I settled in near Napoleon's tomb and I noticed many terrestrial shells. A couple of days later, we went to a desolate volcanic island named Ascension. I was evoked by the rats that were there. I noticed that some of the rats were smaller and had different fur than the others. I thought they were descended from species that had been brought into the island, and their characteristics have changed to adapt the island's conditions. I could relate this to Galapagos, where the finches' beaks had been modified to suit their meals. I was surprised. Then it struck me, maybe we weren't humans since the beginning of time. Maybe we were some other creature, which had changed over time to suit our needs.
Wow, Darwin, that was an amazing summary. Just like how it answered all your questions, hopefully it answers all of you listeners' questions too. His journey had sparked questions and answered many. So there you have it.